Hi all, so I'm going to go over a couple of the review questions that we didn't get to do in class today. So we've already done all of page 1. If you turn to page 2, we had skipped number 14, so that's where I'm going to start. Again, we talked about 11 and x being the same side. This side is similar to this side, which means that they should be across from each other when we set up our proportion. So I'm going to have 11 over something equals x over something. Now I can choose whichever side that I want that I know is the same. I'm just going to choose this bottom one. So I'm going to compare my 11 with my 4. And then the one that matches the 4 is this 52 over here. So I'm going to put x over 52. I don't see an easy multiplier that I can use. I don't know 4 times what equals 52. So the quick way to solve this is to do some cross multiplication. So I have 11 times 52, 52, equals 4 times x. I'm going to plug that into my calculator. And so over here I get 572. And then I know that 4 times x is the same thing as 4x. This is now a one-step equation. So to get x alone, I need to divide both sides by 4. And 572 divided by 4 is 143. Okay, so my answer to this problem is 143. And you can see if this makes sense. Well, if this is 4 and this is 11, that's over double. 11 is over double what 4 is. And so this needs to be over double what 52 is. Well, double 52 is 104, so something like 143 makes sense. All right, let's look at number 16. Our family bought dinner at Los Arroyos, and it cost $48. If we want to leave a tip for $15, so we had $48 and then leaving a tip for $15, how much will the dinner cost in total? So since we're talking about total, how much our dinner costs in total, we know that with tip, it means that we're going to have to add it. When we did number 15, we used a ratio table to solve it. So now I'm going to use a different method, and I'm going to set up a percent bar. So setting up my percent bar. I know that my percent bar always starts with $0 and 0%, and then it's always going to go up to 100%. And I know that 100% is the total, so that's $48. Well, I'm looking for about 15%, so I know that's quite a bit less than half. I would say that's somewhere over here. And I know that I am looking that I don't yet know what 15% is, so I can use an unknown, so I can use a variable of x. The great thing about a percent bar, again, is it sets the proportion up for you. I have x over 15, and I have 48 over 100. Okay, now that I have a proportion, I can cross multiply to solve. So I have x times 100 on one side, and I have 15 times 48 on the other side. Well, I know that x times 100 is the same thing as 100x. And then I can bring over my calculator. 15 times 48 is equal to 720. This is a one-step equation, so I can solve by dividing both sides by 100. And x equals, well, I know that dividing by 100 is the same thing as moving this hidden decimal over here 2 times to the left. So it's the same thing as 720. That means that my tip is $7.20. And so for the total price, that means I need to add it. Well, before I had $48.00 plus now $7.20, which leaves me with 20 cents. 8 plus 7 is 15. So our total is $55.20 for our $48 dinner plus our tip of $7.20. Okay, the final thing that I'm going to go over on the back I think that you should be able to do a graph by now, so I'm not going to go over that part, but I did notice that a lot of us had some trouble with filling in a non-proportional situation. So I'm going to go over number 19. Here it says Monica already has $15 in her savings account, and she's saving up for concert tickets and puts $7 into her account each week. Complete the table in the graph to determine how much money she saves. Okay, so first I have to think of what are the two things I'm comparing. Well, we're starting with talking about money, or you could have written savings, and we know that we're talking about dollars. And then the other thing that we're comparing then is weeks. All right, we're going to start with week 0. At week 0, she already has $15 in her savings account. So we're not starting with 0, 0. That should already make you think that you know that this is not a proportional situation, which means that you cannot multiply or divide to fill out the rest of this table. Instead, you're going to have to think it through, and it's going to be an additive relationship. So if she puts $7 into her account each week, that means that after 1 week, we're going to add 7 to the 15 that she already had there. So now she's going to have $22. After another week, she's putting in another $7, so now she'll have $29. After another week, she's putting another $7 in for that week, so now she's going to have $36. And finally, for the 4th week, she's going to put in another $7, and she'd be up at $43. Okay, is this proportional? Well, again, we already know that it doesn't go through 0, 0, so that's one reason. So you could say no. And I'm going to list all the reasons that you could list, but as long as you list one, you're okay. So 1, the table does not include 0, 0. Okay, and then now I can check to see if the ratios are equivalent. So I could choose any two ratios on here. Might as well start with the easiest one. 15 over 0 equals 22 over 1. So I set up my proportion. And now I could solve it. 15 times 1 is 15. 0 times 22 is 0. Those are not equivalent, so we know that it is not proportional. So ratios are not equivalent. All right, that's all I'm going to go over for tonight. Good luck. Study hard tonight, and I know you'll do great tomorrow. Bye.